I never thought in a million years I would end up being a fan of this first entry, and that is
What?
the baseball cap. Not uncommon to see even senior citizens wearing them, along with their
What?
tennis shoes.
That's crazy to me. So it's common to see, no matter the age, people using baseball caps in America. You know what? Anyone watching right now that tends to use a baseball cap in their daily basis, if so, leave me a comment, my friend. I would love to know you. 6 American things I can no longer live without part 2. My friends, I'm super excited for this one. I already reacted to part 1 and I thought it was an amazing video, but I really wonder what those new things are. Before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description and...
Hello. Last month,
Hey,
I
Linus.
did a video called 6 American Things That I Can No Longer Live Without. And
I
at
know.
the end of that video, I made the mistake of saying this. And if this video does well, my producers say, then we'll do a part 2. If it tanks,
It did
then
well.
we'll just push that part 2 under the rug. Unfortunately, my producers won because that video has been watched 500,000 times.
500,000! Wow!
Clearly,
Amazing.
a popular video with my subscribers. And if you are not yet subscribed, do that now.
Friends, do it for
In the
me.
meantime, this is part 2. One problem
Baseball
with
caps.
having really rubbish British hair is that it blows around on a windy day like today. And so as somebody who used to not like hats because I had good hair, I never thought in a million years I would end up being a fan of this first entry. And that is
What?
the baseball cap. Anybody who's been watching my videos now for a while will know that I often wear these in videos, not just because I have rubbish hair, but sometimes because I'm a very busy man and I don't always have time to shower. Now, some have said
Okay, my friends, the thing with baseball caps is I end up using a lot of them when I was a bit younger, you know. It was very trendy here in Portugal. As an adult, I never felt that I should... it's not that common here, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. This is just between you and me, my friend. If you see me do reactions with a baseball cap, that means just one thing. I'm going bald. And looking at my genetics, this probably will happen. Yeah, I need one of those. I'm being super honest.
that this, as well as previously my beard, are indicators that I had slowly morphed into a Midwestern man. And it's true.
Really?
I definitely feel that with all of my heart. And the simple baseball cap, while certainly not the height of cool, keeps the sun out of your eyes. And what better way to showcase that to you than standing with the sun behind me? So just, yeah, it does, it works.
It
I
works.
can see the trees and not much else. I'm going to turn back around now. Now, don't be under the misconception that we don't have baseball caps in the UK. I think they are usually worn by very specific people who want to look trendy, which is ironic. But here you'll see all manner of people wearing them. I was speaking to my patrons the other day about how it's not uncommon to see even senior citizens wearing them, along with their
What?
tennis shoes and jeans. And that's a look that is almost unimaginable among seniors in the UK, at least seniors that would be the equivalent of my granddad. In other words, they were born
Really, my friends, that's crazy to me. So it's common to see, no matter the age, people using baseball caps in America, no matter the gender also. Oh, that's so interesting. Actually, you know what? Anyone watching right now that tends to use a baseball cap in their daily basis, if so, leave me a comment, my friend. I would love to know you. Honestly, I think there is a lot of great models when it comes to caps, baseball caps.
in the earlier part of the 20th century. And I think it's just because, you know, back in the 1930s, people were wearing jeans here and baseball was a big thing. So I imagine these took off and were really cool. So now I'm embracing my inner American grandpa. So now that I've got that off my chest, I'm gonna go back inside.
So, okay. So the thing is about the baseball caps, here we don't call them baseball caps. It's just a cap, you know. In America, you guys associate with the sport. I know why, by the way, but here it's not the case.
But it's not just the things that I keep on my head, it's also the things I keep in my wallet. And you might be thinking, ooh, Are we going to see Lawrence's debit card so that we can pair this with his mother's maiden name and steal all of his cash? And the answer is no. And you might also be thinking, maybe he's going to whip out his social security card. But between you and me, that is a card that I can live without, because I did for about 4 years after my wallet was stolen and possibly my identity. No, the wallet item...
Sorry, my friends, a bit of a random question, but in America, do you guys have a lot of different cards for different things related with yourself, talking about social security? I believe you probably have a number associated with your taxes. At least here in Portugal, we have one card for everything. And back in the day was not the case, by the way. We had multiple cards. But nowadays we have one card for everything. I have my identity in one card. I have my social security in one card. And I actually find that quite a good idea.
In question is...
Well, if you lose that card, you lose everything. But I guess you also make everything again.
Wallet was stolen and possibly my identity. No, the wallet item in question is this. It's a health insurance card. And you might be thinking, Lawrence, do you not have these in Britain? And the answer to that is not really. See, firstly, a UK national insurance card is kind of similar to an American social security card in that you are issued one and you're supposed to keep that one for life. Just like an SSN, a national insurance number is used to track an individual's social security contributions and taxes, and is not itself evidence of a private health insurance plan because, well, everyone in the UK is covered under the National Health Service. Whereas
Wait, but this makes no sense, my friends, because Portugal and the UK are very similar on this. We also have free healthcare in Portugal, but a lot of people use the private system. The thing is, when the free healthcare overall, I think is a good thing. To be honest with you, my friends, I know it's quite different in America, but from time to time the lines can get a bit crazy. For example, I have an insurance. Basically, I go to the private system to match my necessities from time to time. So I have both. I have the free healthcare and I also have the insurance. So kind of surprises me that in the UK is not the same. Here we have both systems, but I would say most people tend to use, of course, the free system.
Insurance plan because, well, everyone in the UK is covered under the National Health Service. Whereas because my insurance here in the United States expires on a yearly basis, so too do these cards. So I have to update them every year, and my wife will tell you that I end up having about 4 of them in my wallet with different expiration dates on because I am lazy and forget to throw them out. I mean, that's the same with hotel keys. But the point is, they're on this list because I can't live without them, and that's almost literally true. You know, if I get hospitalized in a freakish vending machine related incident, then they're going to ask for it. And if I don't have it, then they'll probably just look up my details. And then my hope is that the insurance covers most of the cost of a freakish vending machine related incident. It depends on the injury. You know, when I put together these lists of American things that I can no longer live without, some of them are not literal. That's just a phrase that you use in order to generate clicks. And then some of them might actually save my life. And one of those is an area of my house that I'm sitting in right now known as the basement. And you might be thinking, Lawrence, again, surely you have basements in the UK. And yes, there are some houses that are built with basements, but you're not going to find it in most houses. I didn't growing up. And there might be some Americans from the southern United States saying things like, Lawrence, we don't have basements out here either. What are you talking?
Oh, okay. So in the south, basements are not that common. Yeah, I also had that idea because the design of the homes is a bit different. But in the north, it's probably common, right? So going back to this, it's kind of the same here. We have some houses with basements, but I would say it's not a common thing.
That are built with basements, but you're not going to find it in most houses. I didn't growing up, and there might be some Americans from the southern United States saying things like, Lawrence, we don't have basements out here either. What are you talking about? Well, I live out here in the Midwest, and most houses and or apartments that I've ever lived in do have a basement or two.
Really?
No building has 2 basements. I don't know why I said that. It's just one. And the reason that my basement could one day potentially be a lifesaver is not just because we're going to have nuclear war, but also I'm learning more and more that the United States is a breeding ground for tornadoes. And in the last 2 years,
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is good. I never thought about this. Basements are probably the safest place in your house if you face a tornado. Maybe even if you face No, wait. But if you face a hurricane, could be the opposite, right? because the water goes first to the basement. Am I saying something stupid, my friends? Man, I never thought about this, but for tornadoes, yeah.
Must have experienced about 10 tornado warnings. Now, most of the time, nothing happens. You get your pets together, you head down to the basement, you hunker down there for about half an hour, and then it's done. And you go back up and you wonder why I even bothered. But as somebody who has seen the film Twister, I know that these can be real events that...
My friends, I was actually thinking about watching that movie, The Twister, for my Patreon community. Of course, I cannot put it here on YouTube for logic reasons. But do you guys think that's a good movie?
Destroy homes, and if that were to occur, I've got nowhere else to go that would stop my face from being blown clean off. Now, you have to find a part of the basement that doesn't have windows. The same would be true in a nuclear catastrophe. Just the other day, I watched a made-for-TV movie from the 80s called The Day After, and they put mud in front of the windows, and the family in this film also left their dog upstairs to die. You know, like a lot of things that I love about America, I think this one goes back to my childhood when I would experience American diners through the medium of film and television. Because in Hollywood, it always feels like American diners are these really warm, ambience-filled eateries where people can conspire to take over the world. Or...
Wait, don't tell me that is not... I thought it was just like the movies when it comes to dinners.
Save it from people who want to take over the world. And so that gives them this weird sense of adventure. So even if it's like a Saturday morning and we've got nothing better to do, but we just want to go get breakfast, I go there with a big jolly smile on my face. I am smiling. This is how British people smile. Because it perpetually feels like I'm in a movie. Now, you might think, Lawrence, that's really immature. Grow up. Well, the truth is, as I've said on this channel many a time, the things we usually see in American movies are heightened stereotypes of what American life actually is like. And so what you see in the movies isn't a fair depiction of what American life is like. So I like to make an exception for diners. I pretend I'm Dr. Richard Kimball in The Fugitive, and we have to get away...
So basically... diners are just like the movies. I love that, my friend. So one of the things I want to try the most when I go to America is to go to a real diner.
From Tommy Lee Jones, and as it turns out, Chicago is not the place to do that. And speaking of...
waste this... Ooh, this is a really, really good one.
Food going down, there is one element of a US kitchen that I cannot believe I went without for so long. And that is something that I spoke about a few years ago called a waste disposal unit that are usually housed with inside a sink. They're amazing. All of that gunk and that remains on your dinner plate as you place it into the sink doesn't have to clog up your sink in American kitchens because you just flick a switch and suddenly it chops up all of that waste.
So I never saw that, by the way, but no, I saw it in movies, but I never saw a real one. I'm not even sure if that's legal here in Europe, but I would love to have one because sometimes when I'm cleaning the dishes, it can get really messy, and specific since I have this channel, I always think, man, if I had a button that I could press and all of this goes away. Well, it's not the case. I have to go. It's actually quite disgusting. Never mind.
And it just goes away. Now, I say that I can no longer live without one of these. Every single apartment that I've ever lived in has had one. But this house, which did come equipped with an extravagant and honestly very needless sensor-operated faucet, does not have a waste disposal unit. And this, for me, has been the source of deep, deep despair. Because very often while I'm doing dishes, the sink gets clogged up. And do you think a YouTube sensation like me wants to spend his time unblocking a sink? I am
My friends, oh my God, he needs to buy one yesterday. You know, oh, come on. You cannot live in America without... My friends, who watching right now have one of those? All of you guys, right? Please tell me, all of you guys. Because if you live in America and if you don't have one of those, unless they are crazy expensive, that I'm not sure. But if they are accessible, you need to have one.
Relatable. Anyway, once again, all of this has made me very angry, so I need once more to go outside. And that's because we are deep into the throes of my favourite season.
You know what? It's not autumn. It's American fall.
Autumn, or as it's known here, autumn, but also fall. And I have to say, I don't know that anywhere on earth does fall quite like the United States.
Yeah,
don't get me
beautiful.
wrong, I love autumn in Britain with its bonfires and burned effigies, but it's always so drizzly. So it means that when these beautiful orange leaves fall from the trees, they quickly become a slushy mess in the road. And here, there's just, it feels like in Chicago there's a lot less precipitation, even though that's maybe not true. If we do get rain, it's usually one huge downpour, but then you have a lot of days in a row where there's no rain. And those leaves leaves come down. They're nice, they're beautiful, and they stay dry and they're good to look at until you take your dog for a
Oh man, America, my friends, is beautiful no matter basically the time of the year we are talking. But when it comes to seasons, I believe the fall is one of the most beautiful ones in America. I was about to say, I'm going to say it. Beautiful America strikes again.
walk, and he all over them. And again, it's not that Britain doesn't have these lovely leaves. It's just that pound for pound, Britain doesn't have as many trees as the eastern United States. I don't know what he's doing.
Great
And so
point.
when you're driving through Appalachia, you're just surrounded by this big
Appalachia.
landscape all the time that feels like a Bob Ross painting. And as somebody who's had the good fortune to experience autumn in Appalachia, as well as southern Indiana and here in Chicago, I don't think autumn will ever be the same anywhere else. And that includes England, who nonetheless...
Okay, but my friends, isn't Vermont like the most beautiful place in America when it comes to autumn? I have this idea that Vermont is really beautiful in the fall.
do have summers and winters that aren't entirely unfit for humans. Anyway, let me know how your autumn
Thank
is
you, my
going,
friend.
and until part 3,
Part 3? Okay, I will watch it. My friends, thank you so much for watching this with me. This was a lot of fun. Like I always tends to be with Lawrence. But yeah, do not forget to leave a like. See you guys in the next one. Bye, my friends.